Hi there, and welcome to the If I Were a Rich Man episode of Head to Head, because if I were, I would own one of these two. I feel very strongly that every car enthusiast needs to have a weapons-grade luxury assault super sedan in their collection. And for a long time, the no-brain answer to that would have been the Porsche Panamera Turbo. For a long time, this has been one of our favorite cars because it defies logic. How can something so massive be so balanced, so quick, so precise, and so fun to drive? Although recently, Audi has been challenging the Panamera Turbo's throne. I drove the S8 and that car blew my mind, but today I've got the RS7. It's got a twin-turbo 4-liter V8 very similar to the one in the S8, but it's got more power and it's lighter. So which one of these two is the best super sedan? There's only one way to find out. Here I am in the Audi RS7. Now, Corvette ZR1, Dodge Viper, Ferrari 458 Italia, hell, the F12 for that matter. What do all those supercars have in common? They're slower than the Audi RS7 is to 60 miles an hour. In fact, this car is going to hit 60 miles an hour in 3.2 seconds. Ready? Here we go. And we're going through a quarter mile in 11.6 seconds at 120.4 miles an hour. Monster car. In fact, we figured this out. Saying 0 to 60 happens in 3.2 seconds takes 3.3 seconds. And now we're going to do our 60 to 0 braking test, which happens in a very impressive 101 feet. All right, now we're taking the Audi RS7 around our figure 8 course. So this car, we know, has lots of power. It's got all-wheel drive, 21-inch tires. It's got lots of grip. And it's an Audi, so it's got lots of push. There's so much understeer in this thing. Notice how much my arms are crossed up. Compare this to the Panamera. I mean, I'm almost making an X. Straight edge. You can hear the tires squealing. If you can see it from outside, what's happening is push, 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 and then it's got the trick rear differential, which is trying to overdrive the outside rear wheel. So the rear wheel is actually moving faster than the front wheels are. And it's a goofy feeling. There is so much power that it puts down an incredible number, 24.2 seconds around our figure 8. That's like an elite supercar time. You know, that's Ferrari 458 Italia would lose by 0.2 of a second. About to launch the 2014 Porsche Panamera Turbo. The reason I say 2014 is because Porsche just refreshed this car and gave it 20 more horsepower. Now, the last Panamera Turbo we tested ran to 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds and through the quarter mile in 11.9 seconds. I think this one might be a little bit faster. To launch it, it's got the easy Porsche launch control. Make sure it's full Sport Plus, make sure traction control's off. Bury the brake pedal as hard as you can with your left foot. Hit the gas. It goes up to about 4,800 RPMs. Release the brake and hold on tight. Wow, okay, 60 miles an hour happens in 3.4 seconds. That's a tenth quicker, and we keep on racing down the quarter mile, which we complete in 11.8 seconds at 116.4 miles per hour. That only took 104 feet. Okay, driving the purple Panamera around our figure 8, and if the Audi put down a fast time, this thing puts down a ridiculous time. This car is in the same league as the all-new C7 Corvette, the Lexus LFA, and the Audi R8 V10 Plus. 23.7 seconds, give or take a tenth. Unlike the RS7, you'll notice my arms are completely crossed up. I'm not making an X. So there's a lot less understeer. It still pushes a little. It is a 4,500-pound car. But remember, this thing is only 17 pounds heavier than the Audi. Yet it just flies around this thing so much better. It's just so much more controllable, so much more precise. I'm not waiting for the tires to get grip. You kind of just steer and it goes. It's just an unbelievable machine. But But again, of course, this is all limit handling stuff. We need to see how these two cars perform in the real world, which is why we're heading to one of our very favorite canyons. Let's start with the exterior. Purple. They gave us a purple Porsche. Now, it's funny, my wife was looking at it and she said something to the effect of, oh, cool, it's like black but with style. I'm just sort of the opinion that, like, purple shouldn't be on cars. Like, I'd even take a pink car, I think, before I take a purple car. Could just be me. With the black wheels and the yellow calipers for the carbon ceramics, it really does have a kind of a mansory flavor about it. And then when you get to the interior, it's a very expensive option. You get body-colored panels all over, so you're always reminded that you are, in fact, driving a purple Porsche Panamera Turbo. I do like this Porsche Sport steering wheel. It has no buttons on it at all. There's no volume control. It's just a really good steering wheel. As for the layout, you know, Porsches don't have a knob controller like BMW's iDrive or Mercedes Command, Audi MMI. Instead, you have a bunch of buttons. A lot of people, I think, find them intimidating at first, but they're really quite logical. You know, you realize this thing is fully loaded. Not only does it have a rear window sunshade, but it has side windows sunshades, heated and air-conditioned rear seats, and you know, it's such a wonderful handling car as is, but you got to think to yourself, could they do a hardcore track model? Could they maybe lose a couple doors and put a 928 badge on it? I bet they could. As for driving, right now I'm in sport mode. Things incredible up here. You know, if I get on the brakes, pretty good at downshifts. Of course, I can just go ahead and use the paddles, go ahead and get the shift I want. What's cool is, though, when you go into Sport Plus, and it really just turns into a monster. It's a hell of an engine, 520 horsepower for 2014. Not as fast as the Audi, we know that, but damn, it's really quick. I do like the transmission a lot better, so I would give the Panamera engine just an A and the transmission an A+. The more vocal commenters of you out there are already typing, why not the Panamera Turbo S? Why not the Turbo S? The reason is, today's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, the first day of the LA Auto Show, and that's when they're debuting the Turbo S, so it's not available yet. We asked for it, trust me. As far as handling goes, the Panamera is on 20-inch wheels as opposed to the 21s on the Audi. And I think as a result, it really does ride better. I mean, they both have air suspension, but there's something just so tied down and wonderful about this Porsche chassis. And when you do hit a bump, it doesn't really upset the car the way that you do get a little bit upset in the Audi. There are certain places that I do enjoy the Audi more than the Panamera, and I think that they're all going straight because that engine in that Audi is just so thuggish. I'm in the RS7 and I'm rocking up a canyon road. And I guess we should talk about looks for a second, because this thing is gorgeous, especially compared to the Panamera. Now, the Panamera's been refreshed, but it still, you know, looks like a humpback whale, especially when the wing pops out. The one thing I don't like is that big Quattro thing in the grille. Now, what they're trying to do is they really want everyone to know that Quattro GmbH, who builds the RS models and who builds the R8, they want everyone to know that Quattro is their in-house tuning division, similar to AMG, similar to M, but it just looks so tacky. In fact, it's a no-cost option, and I think for the first time in the history of Germany, there's a no-cost option on a car, which means they know that no one's going to buy it, so they might as well just give it away. Inside, well, the first thing that catches your eye is, of course, the seats. It's not quite diamond stitching. It might be a Lambo too far. Like, yes, finally, my seats match my grille. One negative thing, though, you cannot get cooled seats, which if you have this much leather, you're going to want. Plus, not only does the Panamera Turbo have cooled seats, but every car in this price range, plus the Kia Forte, has cooled seats. You also have this striped aluminum impregnated wood, which looks awesome. Now, they have gone bold. This is just so cool looking. I own 2 suits, and every time I go to buy a suit, I want to go get like a light blue, you know, British suit with big white chalky pinstripes, and I always chicken out and buy another gray suit. If you don't like it, at least appreciate that they're being bold. As far as driving goes, this is like driving a howitzer with a steering wheel. You will not understand how fast this car is. as quick as it was on the test track, it feels even more monstrous up here in the canyons. I mean, I can easily pop up to 85 miles an hour, and I know that because I have my heads-up display, and it's just a brutal, beastly engine. Just unbelievable, this motor. Total A+, and it's tied to a pretty good transmission. Now, the S7, which only has 420 horsepower, has a 7-speed dual clutch, or DSG as Audi calls it. This, though, it has an 8-speed auto. It's the ZF 8-speed that's in practically every car on the market. Why? Audi's dual clutch cannot handle the torque this engine produces. But it's okay because it's the same transmission that's in the S8. And for the first 20 minutes you're driving it, you won't even believe it's an automatic. You've never seen an auto box shift this quickly. Still, not quite as fast as the dual clutch, so while the engine is an absolute slam dunk A+, I'm gonna give the transmission just an A. As far as handling goes, well, I'm supposed to say that Audi's Achilles heel, the monkey on their back, is terminal understeer. And we did see some of that on the test track. But up here, where you're probably not going 10/10 the entire time, boy, this thing's pretty good. Like, yeah, it's a little pushy. You want to get on the brakes a little bit earlier for corners and then kind of blast out of the corner, use that trick sport rear differential. But I mean, what an awesome machine. You could just annihilate a road in this thing. So, I think this is one of those situations where I'm gonna need the help of my buddy and professional race car driver, Randy Popes, and we're gonna have to settle this one on a racetrack. This is a 4-liter twin-turbo V8.
Little baby 4-liter. Whoa,
Yeah, but
doesn't feel like
yeah,
it.
this thing.
Oh, this thing feels really great when I'm not driving real fast.
Yeah, on a track,
you know what, Johnny? Even in a mildly fast corner, I feel the understeer. Look at the wheel angle to get around this corner.
Yep, it's severe.
Quattros have long had a tendency to understeer a lot, including under power.
Right.
And this car does.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Johnny? I've also felt the car oversteer a little bit.
Sure, it'll
like
do that.
right there.
Yeah.
Sometimes on drop throttle or
Right.
entry, if you don't already have a big understeer.
Right.
If you keep the fronts hooked up, off throttle,
Right.
the rear will come out a little bit.
And what do you think
so
that's from?
They're trying.
Okay.
They're trying to balance the car.
Right.
I'm feeling a lot of body roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot. Are we in the
Yeah.
sport mode?
We're definitely in sport mode. You seem
The
like you're
car's
working
not
a lot.
all sorted out. Right, I'm working a lot.
Yeah.
It's not completely tied down. It's got a lot of roll, it's got dive,
Yeah.
it's got squat.
Right.
Much more than I expected.
Yeah.
I was excited about driving the RS7 because I'm just so excited about the RS5. When we tried that at Mazda Laguna a few months ago, that car was fabulous, especially it was so well balanced under power.
Yeah.
And I expected that from the RS7.
Yeah.
And it's not like that.
I gotta say, you know, as much as I love this car on the road, and this is a tremendous road car, it's just not a great track car, which, you know, with the RS badge.
You're right. For an RS, too much body roll.
Way too much.
Too much understeer when you push it hard. Now, it's not a track car, but it has the potential with some of the tuning that's in the RS5 to be way better. I think maybe what we have here is a car that's designed and comfortable up to about 70, 80%.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, because as I'm talking to you, if I start driving a little more gently,
It's great.
everything gets a lot better.
Yeah. But here on the track, it's just, you know,
When you push it to the limit,
it
kind of falls apart.
It does.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, the Porsche Panamera Turbo.
I don't remember the straightaway being that short.
This baby just cooks, right?
It's my very first time in a Panamera.
Really?
Yeah, I'd heard they were good,
Yeah.
but I've never experienced one before this test. And I'm impressed. It doesn't have extreme understeer under power, which is the bane of the four-wheel drive car. The Panamera's got kind of a reasonable balance,
Right.
and it drives out balance just like that. We had big torque, second gear, and we didn't get a big push. I didn't have to add steering. The power is fantastic. It's a really broad power curve. It makes a lot of power down low, it makes a lot of power up high. Wow, it stops too. Look at that balance.
Oh, the brakes are incredible. So this has the optional $9,200 carbon Brembos, which if you're already spending close to 200 grand, what's another 9,000, right?
Yeah, and they look so cool.
And they do look
And they're
good.
lighter.
Yep.
So they do make the car accelerate and stop better just out of lightweight.
Absolutely. The only real downside is that you pay for it. I mean, this is, you know, 60,000 more than the Audi.
Wow. Transmission is smart too.
Oh.
Shifts quick, and it always seems to know what gear to be in.
Porsche wrote the book on double clutch transmissions. I mean, you know, the PDK is unbelievable. And the thing is, you know, you do have paddles. Have you touched them?
No, I have not.
Yeah, you put it in Sport Plus, and it's almost like having a co-driver.
Yeah, I don't need the paddles.
Right, right.
Look, I accelerate out of the bowl. This whole time I'm taking steering out
Right,
as we go through 80 miles an hour onto the straightaway.
right.
That's my favorite thing about the Panamera. I also like the way it just feels absolutely planted. It's not harsh, but there's no extra monkey motion in the body.
And what's crazy is it's air suspension.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, and usually air suspension on a track, and when you get lean, you know what I mean? It's not...
I mean, I don't care what my spring is.
Right.
As long as the shocks are properly dampening it, and it has that adjustability.
But I think, you know, on the road, this and the Audi, great cars. There's no question. I mean, if you had either, they're great. But I think when you put them on a racetrack like this, and even in my hands, I think you come away with a clear winner. And I think the winner is the Porsche Panamera Turbo.
Johnny, I have to agree with you. The Panamera is just so much better in the environment where I've tried it today, the racetrack.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.